You know, sometimes grown men act like they're in a schoolyard. See, yesterday, the Bengals and the Rams, it was like, fight, fight, fight. And there was ESPN in the back like a bunch of snitches going, ooh, I'm telling. We'll break it down for you today. By the way, we're also going to talk about, could UCLA's basketball team be even better this season than last? And how responsible news outlets, responsible ones, are now injecting the heroin that is pointless Lakers gossip. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It's August 26th, 2022. I want to start off by thanking the new subscribers who joined the channel. If you like the content we've been putting out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. I'm not perfect. And who doesn't want to talk about a good fight? So we always check the scoreboard before we go to the news. There were no games scheduled for LA teams yesterday, but today the Dodgers are in Miami. They'll play the Marlins at about 3:30. That's Tyler Anderson, 13-2, versus Trevor Rogers, 4-6. LAFC is in Austin tonight at 5 p.m. Say what you want about the names that LAFC have added, but Christian Arango has scored 26 times in 40 games. He's their guy, whether they want to admit it or not. And the Chargers are in New Orleans tonight at 5. The Chargers are 0-2. It's the exhibition season, I get it. But we still don't know who the backup running back is. So if you're watching a game, that would be the reason to take a peek. I went through these synonyms for the brawl yesterday between the Rams and Bengals, because brawl didn't seem to fit. Brawl almost felt too genteel. If you looked at the clip, which by the way was heavily doctored, it literally looked like Aaron Donald lost his mind and decided to bludgeon everybody in Cincinnati like he was the Highlander. There will only be one in this city, and it will be Aaron Donald. Like, that was the way it looked on the clip. But again, heavily doctored. So then I was like, well, if brawl felt a little too genteel, we could call it the purge. But that seemed a little extreme. So we're going to settle on calling what happened between the Rams and the Bengals yesterday a melee. Let's describe what went on and then go break it down a little more. Basically, what you don't see on the tape, what you don't see on this tape, is how a Rams defender had to grab Cincinnati offensive lineman La'el Collins. Collins, by the way, is their big free agent addition. They signed him away from Dallas. They had to wrap him up because Collins was picking fights all day long. And so La'el Collins, he breaks free of having these arms wrapped around him, and then he starts swinging, and then everybody into the dog pile. Helmets fly off. And by the way, if you are a football player, your coaches tell you this, everybody with common sense should tell you this, and yet you guys still take off your helmets for a fight. Why? What is going to happen with that helmet? Whap! That's what happens. And that's what Aaron Donald did. I'm not trying to tell you it's right. I'm trying to tell you what happens in a real fight. Now, here's the deal. Aaron Donald normally doesn't lose his mind like that. What I can tell you is Collins was causing fights all day, and he has a history. He has been thrown out of games, actual regular season games, for fighting. So this guy's got a chip on his shoulder. This was eventually going to happen, no matter how professional the Rams and the Bengals say that they are. So they take this doctored clip, and they go to ESPN, and I'm starting to think that the E in ESPN stands for estrogen. Because they go and they're saying, what do you think? And Adam Schefter squeals, that's assault! Mr. Schefter, I like you. Release the pearls, okay? Let them go. Because here's the deal. This happens between teams in these joint practices every single year. Sun rises in the East. NFL joint practices end up in a fist fight. It always happens. So why are we getting ourselves worked up? Aside from the fact that it's between the world champion Rams and the other team that went to the Super Bowl. I understand that part. But what is the end game? Do you really want to know? Because, they should charge him with assault. They should suspend him. Can't happen, won't happen. The NFL has no jurisdiction. They said when you have joint practices, it is the team's and the team's responsibility alone to mete out discipline. And if you think the Rams are going to fine or suspend Aaron Donald for this, you are out of your damn mind. They are not going to fine or suspend the best player, arguably the best player in football right now, who, by the way, threatened retirement at the end of last year. It is not happening. Aaron Donald lost it. He'll get a talking to, and we're all going to go on with our lives. I don't have to excuse Aaron Donald's behavior. The Rams already have. End of story. Something else you might want to know about the Rams? Former Washington Redskins, Washington football team, but not quite Washington Commanders coach Jay Gruden is back. He is a consultant with the Rams. We reached out to his brother John for comment, but he wouldn't return our email. UCLA. I want to get this out of the way before we talk basketball. ESPN is listing bold predictions for the Pac-12 teams. Their bold prediction is that UCLA will start out 5-0, but finish the year 8-4. Now, if that happens, it's not going to be Herm Edwards on the hot seat among Pac-12 coaches. It's going to be Chip Kelly. So, no, 8-4 I don't think is going to cut it, not with that schedule. But regarding basketball, we mentioned how the Bruins added an Italian player, Abrano Conca. And we also noted just this week that Amari Bailey and Aiden Bona have a shot at the starting lineup as freshmen. So what is the result of that? Well, the result is that national publications have ranked the Bruins 2022 recruiting class as number 4 in the nation. Number 4. Duke is number 1. And by the way, as a side note, USC is number 9, so they're not exactly slouching in this regard. So you're sitting there saying to yourself, well, all these players left UCLA, what kind of an impact can the number 4 recruiting class have to keep UCLA in the national title picture? Well, Coach Mike Cronin is extremely optimistic. He was saying that the difference between UCLA advancing in the NCAA tournaments in the last couple of years was that while they were solid defensively, they simply didn't have the offensive firepower to match a North Carolina, to match a Gonzaga. Mike Crone is saying that these new Bruins are just like the rest of the players on the team now, that they like to pass. Therefore, the offense should run smoothly. It's your question. It's your call whether or not you believe passing equals better offense. It probably does. We'll see. Normally, I trust The Athletic. You see, I was a former newspaper reporter. I've mentioned this for longtime viewers. When the newspaper industry was imploding and they were looking to cut costs, they would cut their more established sports writers. The Athletic, which was a startup at that point, would come along and they would hire the beat writers for the Dodgers, for all of your favorite teams, not just from LA, but from New York, Boston, the Bay Area, Texas. They would and form individual bureaus across the country. The Athletic, in my opinion, is a very thorough sports news site. It was a lifeline to experienced, quality sports journalism. But even they can have their flaws. Jovan Buha quotes an anonymous source close to, quote, the situation, saying that the Lakers might just send Russell Westbrook home after the Patrick Beverley trade. No, I don't buy this crap for a single second. If you want to say that this increases the odds of a Westbrook trade, absolutely it does. We just don't know where. We don't know how intense those talks might go. But you're going to tell me that the Lakers, without a source in the team, by the way, A source close to the situation doesn't mean shh. Almost cussed. Unless it's a Laker official saying that we might send him home, I wouldn't buy this in a million years. You're telling me that the Lakers, a family-run operation, this is their business. They can't afford to give a man $47 million to sit at home. And a 9-time All-Star at that. So you're telling me that they're going to cut a check for $47 million just to have Russell Westbrook sit at home. GTFOH. Meanwhile, there is a note with the Clippers. Owner Steve Ballmer said he has no interest in bidding for the Angels, who are up for sale, as you guys probably know. For that matter, neither is Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. We haven't done a lot of Angels news here. They're not Los Angeles. And I must admit, the reason I bring that up, aside from the Clippers not being interested, did you know that the LA Angels of Anaheim are no longer the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim? They cut off the of Anaheim part. I literally had no idea. The Angels have been irrelevant for that long. Craziness. Meanwhile, for a team in baseball that does matter, the Dodgers, Mookie Betts will play for Team USA in next spring's World Baseball Classic. It's been delayed for a couple of years due to COVID. If you've never had a chance to see the World Baseball Classic live, I did. I saw him over in Miami in the last one in 2017. It's a real kick. It's actually surprisingly fun. It beats traditional spring training games, I'll tell you that. Here is something I did not know that I wanted to share. Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner are 1 and 2 in Major League Baseball for base hits. We get so caught up in the analytics of, WAR and this, that, and the other, and plus, minus, divided, side, B8, whatever all these things are, that we forget about things like who's getting all the hits. It's Trey Turner and Freddie Freeman. Freeman has 156. Turner has 151. They're both in the running, obviously, for 200 hits in a season. The last time teammates did that in one season, surpassed 200 hits, that was 2016. The last time teammates went 1 and 2 in terms of collecting base hits, that was Ichiro Suzuki and Brett Boone for the 2001 Seattle Mariners. So it's somewhat impressive, I must say. Lincoln Riley and quarterback Caleb Williams said that their ability to communicate now that they've been together for a couple of years is so quick, it's almost mind-blowing. I trust him completely, Riley told the LA Times. There's not anything in this offense I wouldn't do. Translation, all the limits that he had placed on Williams as a freshman, as a sophomore, gone. They know exactly what the hell they're trying to accomplish. We also mentioned earlier that ESPN ranked all of the college football teams. Well, so did The Athletic. USC is ranked 14th in their own private little poll. UCLA, just so you know, 38th. We mentioned earlier that LAFC is playing tonight. The Black and Gold have loaned defender Mamadou Fall to La Liga club Villarreal. The loan will last all the way through June. They're figuring they got to start making holes in the roster at some point for some of these other players that have been coming in over the course of the summer. Now, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are trying to build something here for LA sports. And I thank again every last one of you who have joined in. Thanks for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Quien Corte El Queso production. Take care.